What is going on, you guys? My name is Rage and we are back today with a quick Pocket Dimension overview in regards to some of the best characters we can utilize. As you can see, we got 5 days officially now starting today in regards to this event being around now for any kind of commander above level 65. And as well, it's going to be characters that are part of the Avenging Asgard trait. So this is including both Asgardians and Wave 1. So I mean, it's going to be very similar, kind of a Dark Dimension vibe where you're able to go through. But difference being is that this is only temporarily for 5 days. And it's going to be similar using the Dark Health Packs to heal up or revive characters that were eliminated. So, I mean, I just went through it real quick, actually. It was pretty good. I'm going to have footage here for the last node just because I felt like it was, the difficulty has been ramped up since the last time we saw a Pocket Dimension of this level, so that's why I wanted to show you guys the footage. But as well, I wanted to quickly go over some of the better characters I noticed synergy wise, right? We have a lot of these characters already previously built up or worked on with the War Scourge, be unlocking Red Hulk. A lot of the heroes as Guardians and Wave 1, they were included in that. So remember this as well, guys. You may or may not see your character if they're not at least level 65 and leveled up for Pocket Dimension. So just keep that in mind. If you're not seeing, if you're seeing them in your roster here but not showing up in your selection screen, that could be for that reason, right? For instance, Loki here is only level 62, so he wouldn't pop up in that roster selection screen. So first and foremost, guys, let's dive into some of the better characters and then we can talk about some options and synergies. But for sure, hands down, I think Thor is pretty much the most important character of this mixture. So even if you don't have him built up, we still have 5 days. You can build him up just because you can take advantage of the value you're going to get from going through War Scourge if it comes back again later on. Thor was the MVP for that Scourge. And again, for Pocket Dimensions, just given the amount of AoE DPS he has, I got super lucky with the 7 red, but regardless, you should be building up Thor because he's going to be doing a lot of raw damage, especially when you combo it up with the ISO 8 Raider on him. He's just absolutely devastating with the number of off-turn attacks, and the more damage you can do in these big stages where there's a lot of enemies coming at you, even better. And you'll see in the gameplay at the end of this video as well. Second most important, in my honest opinion, is Hulk, and I really love how they kind of resized him now, so he's just appropriate as needed and giving him much needed respect. But also being part of that Gamma meta team needed for Apocalypse, we're going to be using his skills and value later on, so you're really just building up towards the end game if you already have him kind of invested in. But he's going to be doing a lot of damage as well. I actually put an ISO healer on him because he can just be so devastating, especially his special ability where he gains a taunt, soaking away damage countered, but as well as healing himself. It just makes him so hard to take down. And you're going to see in my footage as well just how devastating and how tankish he is when he's kind of soaking up damage for the rest of the team. And keep in mind, whenever he gets attacked, he's going to be building up charges as well for Thor. So it really kind of works in tandem with each other, as well as being part of that meta Gamma team. Another big recommendation, just being mindful of the meta as well as Iron Man, right? The Bionic Avengers are pretty much the only viable tech team right now in the Doom 3 raid. So, I mean, naturally, if you build up Iron Man as a legendary, he's also going to be giving value back to you, especially in the Doom late game stages for the raids. So keep that in mind. Those 3 are, pretty safe choices. Honestly, guys, you can go ham on them in investment-wise. But we got some other options here as well, how to round out the rest of the 3 there being that core team, right? So quite a few here, but I think I'm going to start with either Mighty Thor or Hela. So, I mean, Hela recently got the rework here. Beautiful synergy with Zombie Iron Man. So naturally, she was already strong before, but because of her getting that rework, there's going to be some much needed synergy there. I don't personally use her in the Pocket Dimensions because I have a very strong Avengers Asgardians team mix already, but Hela is very strong, especially given her ultimate ability being able to spread negative conditions, and honestly, it just devastates a team when she can do that. And that synergy with Undead, Zombie Iron Man, they're able to take down a lot of war teams right now. So it really does make sense if you guys are hoping to build her up in conjunction with Zombie Iron Man. You're going to get value already, especially being that meta war team. A big one as well for me, like I said earlier, is Mighty Thor. Jane just has so much synergy with Thor, and having those charges being built up, and she's got some great crowd controlling abilities as well to top that up, and she hits hard as well. being able to use that ISO 8 striker and combining with the vulnerabilities that we can stack on. Just a really good character overall, and statistically gifted given the bunch that we have here. So that's the 5 that I would recommend in terms of building immediately if you have them all available, but it's not the 5 I use though. There's some other options that we can also utilize. Valkyrie's very solid. I actually used her in my run through. She has great synergy with the Heroes Asgardians, and again, that War Scourge having value. You build her up now, you're going to be getting dividends back later, and this is how high I built her. But yeah, she did really well in the Pocket Dimensions I just ran through. If you need kind of cleansers, sustainability, Heimdall and Black Widow do make sense. Black Widow can provide some speed up. That's a little bit slower for this Asgardian team that we have. As well with their special there, she's going to have a lot of value combining with the Avengers, or as well as any kind of shield characters, right? So in this case, the speed up does help, but you can see she's going to be assisting Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, because they're Avengers, being able to clear a negative. So that's kind of nice right there. She also has a handy stun if needed to just crowd control a little bit there, right? But statistically, she's not doing great. Has one of the lower stat pools in this because of the not as much love and rework going to her. But hopefully in the future she can get that revitalization. I think Loki's a really good choice too. He has great synergy with Thor, and as well as Hela being part of that Asgardians, OG Asgardians team. I don't have him built up, but he can always increase the speed of the team, right? And having a strong mind control mirror image. If you have Loki naturally built up, I think he's a safe choice to have that synergy, and also giving charges back to Thor. Otherwise, Heimdall is also really good. Recent reworks with the Hero Asgardians. I don't have him built up personally because I didn't really need him for the War Scourge, but he's a good option if you guys want someone to be able to clear negative conditions. Additionally, having that support from the back, and as well as clearing heal blocks. So I think those are the safer choices, guys. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend Sif, Hawkeye, or Captain America. They've really quite fallen off the meta here, and that's also why I haven't really built them out at all. But I mean, those characters I mentioned would be some great synergistic combinations, guys. So that said, that's who I would recommend right now if you guys are doing the Pocket Dimensions for the first time. Let's dive into the last node now, because I did see that this was the one that did have a little bit of RNG relationship. I didn't have an issue with my team, but you guys may find the footage helpful. So hopefully this helps you guys push you all the way through unlocking those Gambit shards. Thank you, guys. Now it's nice because they finally switched things up. So this is my team right here, guys. I utilized Hulk with Iron Man and Thor being part of that Avengers squad, and then utilizing the efforts of Jane and Valkyrie. So I mean, even at this beginning, we're actually going to get wiped out here right away, because you can see having that synergy with Loki and Hela, they're able to burst someone down real quick. So we actually needed to be someone tanky. So I did this rerun here, and the good news is you can always back out if you're not liking how the setup is initially kind of flowed through the RNG. But you can see Loki and Hela doing their thing at the beginning, and they're aiming for Hulk, which worked really well for us because we did want him to soak up damage, or Thor. That way they're going to be building up charges. But you can see how Hulk is pretty much on the brink there, and then taking down Hela and trying to focus on her at the beginning. But we get lucky with the RNG, and then finally that devastating strike that I noticed and I noted earlier with Thor, because this is exactly why we want Thor in this team, building up those charges, his devastating damage. And again, these guys do actually hit pretty fairly well. We're going to be up against the full Black Warrior, so we go ahead finally to finish up that middle cluster there, and then finish up the damage dealer in Proxima Midnight. And then you can see how amazing that sustainability from Hulk is. He just needs a turn or two to activate his special, and he's pretty much back to full HP. So that's why, guys, I highly recommend putting an ISO 8 healer on him, putting him on the corner there to soak up damage, because he's pretty much unstoppable when he can get to that shape in terms of being able to recuperate himself from damage, right? And when we're left with both Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian, it's pretty much a waiting game. We're gonna be waiting on them attacking us, taking our time a little bit, soaking up the damage. But you can see here, these guys are tankier. It's interesting they finally decided to switch things up in the Pocket Dimensions. Maybe I didn't notice before in the last one that we ran, but yeah, I thought they replicated a lot of the Dark Dimension 1, but they finally switched things up with this mode. So now finally in this last wave, we are pretty much up against the full squad of the Black Order. But thankfully, again, the right charge is in place Thor just does a devastating passive attack there, pretty much taking away the majority of their HP, and we're in a really good spot, right? And you can see how fast those charges come into play, and this is why, guys, I highly recommend you gotta have Thor as part of this team going through Pocket Dimensions. You're just gonna have a much better time. He just does so much damage, and there's a lot of off-turn attacks that's going in between. So likely folks may have a hard time because they're not used to Pocket Dimensions, needing a little bit more synergy from these guys. And fortunately though, we have these efforts of powerful characters that are in the end game, such as Hulk, Iron Man, Thor. They're all used, right? They're all used in later stages or part of an end game unlock through Apocalypse. So it's very good that we're at least getting value from the previous investments right there. So there you guys have it. I thought personally it was pretty easy, but again, my team is quite built up. So you guys might have to push your team a little higher, because this is definitely a harder Pocket Dimensions than what we've seen previously before. But these are a sample of the upgrades here. And again, those Gambit shards are absolutely huge. So good luck, you guys. I hope this helps you guys, at least with the footage. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next one.